Call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Mark. Here. Ron. Here. Gene. Here. Angie. Here. The confirmation of a quorum. I'd like a motion and a second. Yeah. I got
No, we have to do the public hearing before our meeting.
Yeah, all right.
So
Okay. All right.
just go ahead and read from that.
I'll read this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. And by the way, I'm reading this, everybody. This is the Chloride Domestic Water Improvement District public hearing regarding the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025. We have provided a draft budget for review on our website and have asked for feedback in writing prior to this hearing. If you wish to speak, fill out a request form to speak and provided by Kathy and submitted to us. We will then call you to speak. This invitation is to speak only on matters of the proposed budget. Let the record show that no one has chosen to speak at this time, so I am calling this hearing conducted. We now move to, okay. Now we're hearing on the budget. Has everybody got a chance to look at this? Everybody understand? Okay, I will call for a,
Well, no, this was just for the public's chance to go ahead and speak
We don't
on
approve it now?
But no, that's actually on the agenda.
Okay.
oh, that's on the agenda.
now
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes, it was just their
Okay.
chance to voice
Okay,
concerns,
all right.
anger.
Okay, now we'll proceed with the regular board meeting.
Yes.
Hearing is closed.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of 5/8/24.
Gene, Ron?
I saw a correction. I thought in there that you voted nay, or did you vote yay on one of the? in the
Did I do
minutes?
something?
Maybe, when I read it the wrong. It was asking for something, and I thought you voted yay, but it shows she had a written nay.
Yeah, we want to make sure that's right.
No, I voted yea.
No, I know, but if he's saying that I put it down wrong.
You voted nay?
No, I voted yea. I voted yes.
No, not yet. But it says you voted no.
I see that, yeah.
On 11.
Yeah, 10.
Okay, are we all,
You said, or no, 10, 11, you're right. 11.
No, 10 too.
Yeah, you have me saying no and everything.
Actually, no, it looks like I've got two of the same line
The
item here.
replacement seals are at both 10 and 11.
Yeah, so,
yeah, right there, it's a replacement seal.
so I'll go ahead and delete 11.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Good catch, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing I saw.
Delete
Yeah.
and change
If it was
this
a
to I.
correction,
There was a correction, yeah, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All of them?
What?
You're deleting item 11?
Well, yes, because it's the
It's
same
a
as item
duplicate.
10. It's the same subject.
Oh, I see,
Yeah.
yeah, 10 and 11.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah,
yep,
okay.
so I'm deleting
Got a little
11,
snafu
yeah.
there.
So I'll go
Yeah.
ahead and change it.
Okay, now,
Good eye,
with that correction being made, now a motion and a second.
I make a, with corrections.
Okay?
Move that Kathy do the corrections.
Okay,
Okay,
so,
cool. All in favor? Okay. Okay, cool. Board members report. Mark?
No.
Okay. Ron? Gene? I'll let you.
Financially, we are running into rougher times than predicted. The financial report for this month, ending in May, does not really show it. we are going to be, as on the agenda here, we're going to have to transfer about $15,000 to
Right.
make up for some bills. So that does not look good. However, I don't believe it's a catastrophe at this point, but we're going to have to think carefully about what we're going to do to make up
Yeah.
the difference. So, going on to water losses. I've been thinking about this for a long time, many years, ever since I came on the board. What was that, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
When I came on the board, I believe our water losses were 58%. Dangling around there. We patched a hole in the pipe in front of yesterday's, dropped it by about 10%. Then found a hole at the end of, north end of Second, which we didn't think was too serious, but that gave us about another 3 or 4% drop when we fixed that one. I found another one at Schuylkill on Second Street, which looked more serious, and it once again dropped us by about another 3, 4, 5%, something like that. So we achieved some quick gains in those. Unfortunately, we haven't achieved any gains since. So I've got to think about that. Why in the heck have we had?
Why are we stagnated at that?
Yeah, especially considering that we thought we had fixed several large leaks and they made no difference. So my own conclusion can be that even though it looked like a lot of water, it paled in comparison to the amount of water being lost in the rest of the system. That's about the only conclusion I can come up with. I want to rephrase a comment that I've made consistently over the last 8 years. And I've been noting that the more water we pump, the more water we lose, which sounds logical. However, what I really meant to say was the more water we pump, the higher percentage of water we lose. Which would lead me to believe that if we didn't pump so damn much, we wouldn't lose so damn much water.
We'll tell people not to use water.
So how, well, I was thinking now, how do we accomplish that? So, when we were fixing all those years ago, the pipe in front of yesterday's, which took us 3 days, we maintained the town in water by running one pump. Ben and I talked it over and we figured how we're going to bypass that. We bypassed the water through 2-inch lines, laterals up the streets and around, completely as this, and decided that to take care, to reduce the volume and pressures on those pipes, so we would run one pump. We ran the town for 3 days on one pump. We are currently running 3 pumps at a time, right? 3 out of 4. We would actually run the town on one.
I thought we only ran one at a time.
No,
No.
there's
It changes,
4 and 3.
yeah, it drops one off each time at a random
One
pattern.
rest.
Yeah.
One rest. So I got to thinking about that quite a bit, thinking, well, if we only ran one pump, what impact would that have since we can run the town on it? It would certainly, since we would have a lower volume of water trying to cram itself through the pipes, it would certainly lower the pressures and
Yeah.
lower the friction losses. And we would probably gain quite a bit of water savings. And just thinking about it, I'm thinking we could drop down to maybe 30%, maybe 25% loss just by changing the management of the water. So, the water management of pumps. So then that got me further to wondering just what is the increase in pressure on the lines when the pumps come on. So Ben and I went out this morning, and he had turned the pumps off early, so they were not running when we went out. And there is a handy pressure gauge right next to the post office. And so we looked at it, and it registered 108 pounds. So the system at rest is 108 pounds.
At that part of town.
At the post office.
At the post office,
It's
yeah.
going to be more down there, much less up there.
Well, yeah.
But it's probably a good average number. You know, if you looked at the averages around town, we're probably close to the middle of all the different places. So it's a number to start with. So we figured that's 108. And Ben did some measurements not too long ago, and I'm going to repeat one of them tomorrow morning. But when the pumps were running, he found the different numbers around town, but in his mind, he was thinking they probably averaged out to be about 120 pounds. So with the pumps running, and I'll see tomorrow morning, if that's true, what the pressure differential is at the post office, which should be pretty representative.
Yeah, because you're kind of,
I would think. Ben thinks that it was 120. So if that's true, that means that when the 3 pumps come on, we have a 12-pound increase in pressure, which is not near what I thought it would be.
yeah,
It doesn't seem like that much, in fact.
But it is so.
But it is so.
yeah.
But it is so. And then I got to thinking about the history, some of the darker history of here back before we existed. A previous board, and I don't remember the year, Kathy or Mark, you might, I think it was around 2010, 2012, when they decided to stop using the tank up on the
Big
hill.
tank.
Yeah, 2012.
When they cut that tank off. And the reason they cut the tank off was because they had to keep adding chlorine to it. And they couldn't figure out why it was losing so much chlorine, so they just decided to shut it off.
The well's not producing.
What's that?
The well doesn't produce enough out there to supply.
No, in my belief, the problem is the chlorine never got there. Because it is so long up there and there's so many gallons, that the water in the pipe was just sloshing back and forth. And gradually losing more chlorine than what it could gain.
It leaches out as it travels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but the real impact would have, when the main line comes up to Second and Tennessee, the water was diverted 2 directions. So suddenly we had twice the number of pipe to haul the same number of gallons of water. That would have to have an effect on the pressure. It would have to have an effect on the back pressure of the whole system. So it could be, one more comment. A couple of years ago, John Fry and I were standing around BSing about something. And he said, you know, we didn't have, because he used to work on it.
we are, right.
He said, we didn't have near the number of leaks and problems you guys are having before you guys increased the pressure. I looked at him and said, we didn't increase the pressure. And he said, yeah, you took out the pressure regulator up there
Up on Fourth.
on Fourth. And I said, John, there was no pressure regulator there. I looked in the hole, all it was straight pipe and there was a pumping system on the other
Yeah.
side. There was no regulator. And so our conversation ended there. But what I was thinking was that when they shut off that tank, that would have increased the pressure. That would have increased the back pressure over the whole system. And because there was no longer water going that direction. And so it would have taken a number of years for that increased pressure to have an impact. I think what's happened, one other thing, we note that what,
I was just gonna ask, why would it take a number of years for the pressure to happen?
Because
Oh, you
of-
mean on the lines? that
On
you
the
just-
rest of
okay,
it.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
on the rest of the
thing,
system.
because we're only talking 12 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is significant, but it would take a while for it to appear, for its results to appear. The other thing we notice is that when we look at the numbers on here, they go down and then they increase. They increase the more we pump, but they also increase just over time. So, what I'm thinking is that even though it's only 12 pounds, I would like to propose we experiment by cutting back to maybe 2 pumps at a time, or even trying 1 pump at a time to see what happens. The lift in the tank, we only use 8 to 10 feet of water per day. 8 to 10 feet of water. 10 feet of water is 4.4 pounds,
Right.
around 4.5 pounds. All we need to do is lift our average poundage up 4 pounds and we can fill the tank. We can keep it filled
Yeah,
if we pump 20 gallons.
yeah,
If we doubled that and lifted it by, say, 10 pounds, then we could, and if we, then we might have to pump 10 or 12 hours a day.
yeah, the longer period.
But we would using 1 or 2 pumps We would save wear and tear on those pumps. We'd save tear on the pumps that are working because we would have a lower back pressure against them. And we should reduce the relatively high pressure leaks that we're having. We should result back to. Because when the pipe expands, the hole expands.
Oh, yeah.
So if you think about the amount of water going through a hole at a given pressure, if you increase the pressure, the amount is going to come up, but it should raise equally with water pressure. It should be a straight line calculation, but it's not, unfortunately. It's logarithmic, which means that, in my mind, the hole is enlarging. And so we have leaks all over town, which because of the pressure increase, are actually increasing their capacity. If you look at the most recent one we dug up where we had 40 feet of split,
Yeah.
the whole 40 feet is going to go like this.
Oh, yeah.
When the pressure goes down, it's going to go
It's
down
gonna
like
close
this.
back up again.
And might actually try to close. It would seep a little bit.
Oh, I
to
think
get
so.
lower pressure.
Yeah.
But when it opens up to the higher pressure, you may get, what, maybe 5, 10 times the amount of water?
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, thinking about that, I thought maybe we're looking at water loss the wrong way. We've been looking at water loss, at least I have, all these years as being the problem. But I think water loss is the symptom, not the problem. The symptom is telling us that something is causing the water loss. And we have to find out what is causing the water loss. And I believe a major part of it is simply the pressure gradient.
That's a real good thought.
I have a calculator, I'll see if I can find it. It covers exactly what you're talking about on a 1/4-inch hole. It'll tell you how
Right.
many gallons
Oh, yeah,
you're
yeah.
losing by each pressure.
I've seen
that
those,
goes up.
yeah.
There are so many variables in the system that engineeringly speaking, and I think more like an engineer than anything else, there's too many variables to take into consideration.
Oh, there's a lot of variables. I mean, yeah.
So, once again, when I look at it, I'm thinking we could gain a lot of ground by lowering the pressure gradient. Let's say that we could drop, well, right now we're at 50%.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we pumped about 160,000 gallons more last month than we did.
Yeah, we
the month
did.
Before. If we could take, let's say, a number like 40%, and if we could drop that by 10%, we've gained a lot of ground.
Oh, yeah, if we can drop 10%.
Yeah.
That's related.
And furthermore, against what the board voted on, we could use $800,000 total for the leaks, instead of replacing a line where the leaks may or not be coming from. Now, part of my thought is that we should be looking at the oldest part of town instead of the newest. If we're replacing pipe in the newest part of town, it seems to me the odds are less likely to find the problem areas than if we start replacing pipes in the oldest part of town, because we know that's where leaks are. Plus, and Ben, I think, can back me on this, almost all of our leaks, probably 90% of them, exist in the black plastic feeder lines.
Oh, yeah.
They
I would
don't,
say so.
they don't exist in our
Little
PVC
pinholes.
laterals. What?
Just a lot of little pinholes.
Yeah,
And they add up.
and the black
It's the
plastic,
wrong pipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
right, and the black plastic is the one most subject to swelling.
Yeah.
Plus, the black plastic, we dug up one pipe that was leaking, and it was not beneath the pavement. The pavement was right over the top of that.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's no wonder the car's running over and broken.
Yeah.
Most of the pipes we find, and see if I'm correct on this, are only a few inches below the surface.
You're right.
Whether
Yeah.
it's pavement or whether
I'd say
it's
probably 50%.
gravel. So, in trying to come up with a good way to use $800,000, my mind has worked myself around backwards to where I've stopped thinking about the water loss and started thinking about the pressure gradient as it affects the water loss. And then, after looking at that, then looking at the water loss. To try and accomplish what we all want to do, and that's save some water.
Save
Yeah,
water,
that's what the
yeah.
goal is. But approaching that, I have been personally looking at the symptom instead of the cause.
Yeah.
And
There's some good thought there.
yeah,
There really is.
I've needed to rearrange my thinking on that. You know, as you go up Tennessee, there's a lot of black plastic under there. And it's not very deep, and it runs places where you can't guess it's running.
All percolates down.
Yeah, and we found the same thing on payroll. God, there's scores of black plastic pipe under there, and who knows where they go?
Well, you know, I read the original specifications, that what they were supposed to do when they did this whole system, when they put the new line in down to Hercules. And part of their job was that they were supposed to run tracer wire on on lines, on any new lines, you know?
And new lines have been in.
Yeah, and they didn't. I know there's no tracer wire, otherwise we'd be able to find leaks.
Yeah, we've
And-
never seen a tracer wire
Well,
anyplace.
And there's a couple other things that they didn't do, I'm sure.
They didn't put in a pressure regulator on Tennessee for the space.
Yeah, they didn't, yeah, and that was
Yeah.
on the drawings, that was on
Yeah,
there.
that's all right on the
And-
drawings.
And so was the surge tanks that I was talking about, you know, and the back pressure regulators. I don't think they put any of them in, that they were supposed to. And I was, after reading that, I'm going, well, they're supposed to have this here and this here and this here. And I talked to Kathy on the phone one day and I go, it can't be a problem because they did this and this and this, and that takes care of it. Well, they obviously didn't do any of that because they just, I don't know what they did.
Well, nobody's
Well, and
watching.
if they did it in one spot, it doesn't fit. I mean, they might have hit it in one, put it in one
Oh,
spot,
maybe
but if they didn't put it in
If they didn't do
everywhere,
this and this and this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
got a
They were
zone
supposed
that
to
you're
put
dealing with the
shut-off
zone.
valves at the end of every street, you know, and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but they didn't do it.
So I would propose, if you can try to reorient your mind the way I tried to reorient mine, and really think about how we're going to spend the $800,000. Because my mind is turning in circles right now. And I keep thinking about all the leaks that Ben has dug up. And basically, they're coming out of the black grass. Almost all of our 50% loss is coming out of those old feeder lines. I call them feeder lines.
Well,
I don't know
that's,
what you would call
well,
them.
they're service lines or whatever, I don't know,
But
pick a
they're-
name.
But they're buried in rocks. They're very shallow. And they don't leak enough water for it to come up to the top.
Yeah,
But
you take
cumulative,
75 of them,
Yeah.
or, I'm picking a number, well, whatever, yeah. That's some really good thought. My take on it right now, without thinking about it much, you know, I think the first thing to do is let's talk about the pump deal. Let's lower the pressure.
that would be my first move. would be-
Yeah.
See, Ben, is that right? We did run the town on one pump, didn't we?
Yes,
I think so.
Did the pump run 24 hours a day? Do you remember?
no,
No, it didn't? Remember, we're only
We ran it for
raising the water
about 10
pressure
hours.
by about 4.5 pounds.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's not like we need
50 more pounds or whatever.
Yeah. We don't need the 18 for sure.
Yeah,
I was thinking when I started in on it, I was thinking that we were like tripling the pressure, we're getting like 80 pounds extra.
Yeah, yeah.
I was completely wrong on that.
yeah, you were going for the big,
Yeah, but I still I was correct in that we do have a significant increase.
yeah.
And so I would like us to work on that.
Okay, Ron, you got any thoughts on this? Yeah, I know, no,
I think all the black pipe needs to be replaced anyway, and that was the basis on which we got the ARPA grant, was because that was, we proposed to replace all those outdated lines, you
Right.
know. And even though we have, an engineer's estimate and what he thinks, you know, now we have a set of plans. And that's what we're really after, right? We wanted to get it going. I don't think that, I went over the numbers on the engineer's estimate for doing what he said he was gonna,
Yeah.
what, you know, and they're way high, way high. I even priced the pipe myself. And even if a contractor adds on his 15% or whatever they add on, are allowed, I don't know in Arizona, how much they're allowed to add on for parts.
I don't know.
But I still couldn't come up with the number they came up with. And
Square footage.
there's another, also another way to go about it is through our contract, the way we can purchase. We can do micro purchases of so much, and we don't have to go out to bid on any of it, because it's gonna be under so much money. So that's what, I had been talking to Kathy about buying pipe, you know, as when we have to replace pipe, buy pipe and use the ARPA money to buy that pipe, because we can do it.
So we got a time limit as far as like when.
We have to, we're supposed to have all the money committed by the end of the year.
It just has to be
Yeah.
committed, not spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
About
didn't
6
think it was
months.
spent, I was committed to a certain thing.
Yeah.
Are they including the cost of
Well,
building?
I would like to bring up one concern, and that, you know, this is coming from a layman, but if we go down to one pump to supply the town, what kind of, I mean, that system was designed to be run a certain way. And if we just go down to one, that's going against what it was designed to handle. I'm just wondering what that's gonna do to the system.
Actually, the system was designed to run that way, but then they cut off half the system. So you aren't running the system anymore. When they shut off that tank, you lost half the system, half the water supply system. So you're trying to cram twice as much water into the same pipe.
I
Wait.
thought that tank was
That whole thing
was cut
offline
off
before that came
before they built that
Yeah,
pipeline.
they watched it separate, that shut down and just.
I don't know exactly time, we'd have to look that up.
Yeah, because they started doing the new job in 2009, and it was signed off and everything by AWWQMP, whatever, in 2012.
It seemed to me that, go ahead.
That big tank up there was cut off
That's
before
Big
that.
Wash. Big Wash was shut down, we were hauling water when I moved here, they were bringing the
Right.
truck up, dumping it in. That was not running any longer at all until that came online. That was designed just for our system, not Big
It
Wash.
didn't fill that tank.
Well,
Did
Big
not fill
Wash
the
is
tank.
separate from the tank up there.
But that tank up there is part of the Big Wash system. That was full.
Not really, because it continued being used. They continued to use both these tanks for a while now.
Not the tank, yeah.
And, yeah, we need to look up the exact dates. When I first came on here, it was like in 2014 or something like that, I'm not sure. And they were talking about having shut the tank off just a few years before. And so I'm not sure what year they cut the tank off.
Probably 2012, when they started up this system down here.
But, Ben, do you have anything to add to that?
Mm-mm. No, because I didn't start until
Scenario.
What's
2015. I didn't start until 2015. I was on the board, but everything was static.
Was the tank already shut down then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I started in like 2012 or 2013, and Reen trained me, so she may have a good idea too, so I can ask her as well. I mean, we could try going down to 2, I just don't.
I could be wrong on that supposition, but I still don't believe I'm wrong on the effects of the increase in pressure. I think that by lowering the pressure closer to what it takes to fill the tank, that we could get rid of some of the surges, pressure surges, and some of the enlarging of the.
Well, I think that's the first step, is to go down to 1 pump or 2 pumps if we have to.
Well, they only pump for 2 hours a day anyway.
3.
Well, yeah.
Three hours?
You know, I
9
could
to
reach
12.
out to Grundfos. I mean, it's their system. I could reach out to Grundfos weeks
If
or
we only
whatever.
use one pump, it won't affect the system whatsoever, except have the water run slower.
Well, I just meant we might as well ask the experts that know their pumps and stuff and just see
I
what,
don't,
I don't know, I don't,
They'll send you to their book, and their book will have the charts.
yeah,
They'll
they'll
Okay.
have
have
everything.
they'll have the pump
I'm just-
curves in
Right.
there.
No, that's
I
fine.
mean, that's what they'll deal with.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've you guys have added different automations to it, right?
Well, that one, they did add the radio control.
Okay, see.
That was in 2015.
Okay, they won't wanna, they'll argue with you
Yeah.
because they don't know with
The
the
whole thing.
schematics,
Right.
if it's screwing up their pumps and their rotations, the speed.
Yeah,
I don't even know why we need 3 pumps to run, to fill up the 55,000 gallon tank anyway.
Because of the elevation.
we have 4 pumps, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 pumps only run,
right.
it's fine.
3
right,
at a time.
One takes a break.
Okay. It's on automatic rotation then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the computer rotates.
I would first drop down, gonna have to watch pressures, but I would drop down to 2.
I'd drop down to 2 and see what it
And then
does.
see what
Yeah.
that does.
Yeah, I think so.
And if it handles and everything's okay, you can play the scenario for a few days with 1 pump. And
Yeah.
just see, I mean, if the pressures drop down, everything's working.
If the,
Play it for a week.
You've
and
answered
see-
your
and keep a
question.
real close eye on
That's
it.
the only way you're gonna find out
Yeah.
if that's your thought, you know.
the only thing we gain by having 3 pumps running is a faster reload.
Yeah,
But if we only use
so run it longer.
a couple of feet per day
Yeah.
out of that tank, what, 8, say,
8 to 10,
8
to 10 feet is all we use.
and so, and that tank is how tall, 25 feet? We
Yeah,
use
it's
about half a tank a
2,500
day,
gallons
right?
a foot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we use about half a tank a day, so,
When we fill it up, it goes to a little over 22 feet.
Yeah.
so
okay.
what would it hurt? I mean,
It's not gonna hurt anything, it's gonna tell us something.
Give it a shot, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's less
think,
force to get up the elevation.
Pardon?
It's less force to get up the elevation,
Right.
is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Now,
So
I
it's
was-
just whether or not it can handle
It's the
pushing
same,
the water
That's
that
it's the same
high.
force,
but
it's
that's
just
what the
less
booster
volume.
station's for. The booster station is supposed to be to take the water once it arrives
Yeah.
there,
Keep
to
it
get
from-
it up, to keep it, the
Right.
pressure,
Yeah.
just
the
enough
hill.
to get it up to that tank.
Just enough as you
But I don't know if the booster station is doing what it's supposed to do.
It's
It might
Booster
be,
station.
the midline?
Oh, midline? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Well, I think it's doing what it's supposed to do, it's just doing much better than what it's supposed to
I
do.
think
Well,
maybe
yeah,
it's,
maybe
it's
doing too much.
boosting
Because of
the
our
pressure.
system.
Yeah.
It
Now,
might be
if our
boosting
system
too
was
high.
an engineered system, which had all the correct parts put into it, then we could run 3 pumps. Because-
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have the old pipes breaking all
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
But
Exactly.
since we don't have an engineered system, we have one that's full of inferior pipe, which was applied wrong.
Yeah,
One leak that he found, we dug down a couple inches, found the leak, and it was a clamp, and all he did was tighten the clamp.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. We found that a couple times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we found that more than once.
So this, for my money, this is what we should be looking for.
I think so. Let's start, and we have to watch it really close for the first couple.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, really watch it.
Have to watch that tank to make
Yeah.
sure it's not gonna go dry.
Yeah, and, let's do that. I think that's a smart thing to do.
It won't take very long to figure out
No.
if that's what's
Then
happening.
we
it's
run
gonna
it for a
fall on your shoulders.
That's okay. I don't mind. I go down there 2 or 3 times a day anyway to keep track of it, so it's not a problem.
Yeah.
The only thing,
The level up here though.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
Yeah, we gotta
we'll
watch
have to
this
correlate,
one.
but we have the reading down there, which is fairly accurate.
Okay.
You know, if it says 12.5 down there, and you go up there, it's gonna be right at 12, between 12 and 13.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not exact, but one of them is measured in feet, and the other one's measured in
Well, but
gallons.
it's close enough
Yeah, it
to,
correlates, it's a good reading.
yeah.
Is there?
Now, can we start this on Monday? Because the reason I had already scheduled, so that we're gonna go down there and try to find out why our automatic system is not working.
I think that's-
Now, April came.
Start it Monday.
Huh?
Start it Monday.
Okay, and the
That's
reason
fine.
is so
And then keep a
we're already
real close
scheduled to
daily
try to go
log
down there and
so
find
we
out
can-
what's wrong.
A kind of a separate log,
Yeah,
you know, that,
Okay.
you know, Kathy will come up with something that, you know, some kind of a spreadsheet or something.
Nah, not her.
SOP has one in there in the back if you look. It
Yeah.
has
Oh,
pressure
sure.
and all that for you, so you
Yeah,
can
I
fill
mean,
that
they're-
page out.
Okay.
Then tomorrow morning after the pump start up, I'm gonna check the pressure gauge by the post office.
Okay.
And see what our pressure differential is.
Where is that pressure gauge located?
There's a,
Right next to the post office, there's a
by
big,
the back
a ball
door, when they walk
shooting
in,
set.
there's a blue lid about like this in the ground, just pull it up. and
Oh, it's right there about the middle of the post office.
And it has a gauge on either side of your valve. So one shows the gauge pressure, which is 70 pounds, and the other one shows the line pressure, which was 108 when we looked at this morning.
Okay, well, let's start that Monday morning.
Okay.
And like I say, it's gonna kind of fall on your shoulders, Ben,
That's okay.
and just watch it.
And I'm sorry, Kathy, if we went around you on that by talking to them.
No.
She and I are gonna talk about it anyway, so we always do.
Okay, all right, we don't need to put a motion on that because it's not on the agenda. We just had a discussion and
Yeah.
we'll just do it.
Work in progress.
Yeah. Okay, are you
I'm done.
good? No. Angie,
You
you
know
got
that's
anything?
more than I've said in the last 8 years.
I know. Angie, you got anything to?
Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about well, I guess it's under critical infrastructure, that thing. It's item number 8.
Yeah,
So we could talk about it.
well, we'll go down to 8.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have anything to say particularly, so. Mark?
All I'd like to say is I don't agree with doing that with pumps, that's all. I mean, that's fine, try it, I mean, I just don't think.
Well, we're good.
At all.
It's gonna settle it,
Yeah.
you know, so, okay, that's fine.
What is your concern, just the strain on the pumps,
Yeah,
or?
strain on the pumps.
Okay.
Working too hard.
Yep, they're old enough, we can't.
Well, that's possible, but that's why maybe 2 would,
Well, if you do two, but it's only gonna be in a day or so, you're gonna find out.
yeah, you're gonna find out real quick.
Actually, I think it's gonna work in less. You're gonna have much lower back pressure, and 3 pumps are gonna be resting while one's working.
That's if all these gauges and these
Well,
Yeah, like
pressure
how do we know
bulbs are
those are
working.
right?
well, we don't.
Working.
You're putting out a third of the volume, so
No.
you're gonna have lower
Well,
pressure.
like I said, like Ron says, we're gonna know really quick.
Can you have one of the guys sweep off all the pressure wherever your bolts are and have them do a reading on all?
Okay,
Yeah,
And
Don't
make
get the
sure that the
pressure.
bypasses aren't, the bypass valve isn't open?
yeah, make sure we're not bypassing something.
Well, we did open a couple down here, and I talked to Kathy. Kathy said you did shut that one off at.
yeah,
Second.
3rd Street, and there's one on Rainbow, and there's one on
Well, no,
Payroll.
I opened the one on Second when we were trying to get water to go down and find that we weren't getting any water pressure down.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't know the
Okay,
street.
but let's
Okay.
just double check them all.
Well, that's what I'm just saying,
Yeah,
is you can get a
no, I
gauge.
know, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, office managers report.
All right, it's kind of a book this time. Critical infrastructure, and we didn't put this on as an actual agenda item, but I just wanted to say, announce that Civil Tech did give us a preliminary set of plans and approval to do the, what do you call it? I didn't write it down. The price request, SOP?
RFQ.
RFQ. thank you.
Yeah, request for qualification.
For you guys to look at, and I think you guys are gonna be discussing that. Tank cleanings, I will be moving ahead as planned in the next month or 2 on the tank cleaning, since it's on the budget for this coming year. I was waiting on it for that. I did reach out to a 4th company, looking through some old paperwork. I did find another company, so I'm waiting for that. I have time, so I might as well. But they're all coming in around 3,000, so that's what I'll be spending here in the
How
next
often
couple
do we have to
months.
clean the tank?
I'm sorry?
How often do we have to clean the tank?
Every 5 years.
Every
Yeah.
5 years?
That's
Yeah.
how we used to have.
Yep.
Was it 5 years ago when we had that tank cleaned?
Yep.
Doesn't seem that
3 to
long.
5
Wow.
years.
Seems
No, I
like
think, no,
only-
actually,
seems like only
I
about
said
2 or
3 and
3.
then he corrected me, but it is 3. It was 3. That's what my paperwork said, was every 3
Okay, so now
years.
5 is 3?
Yes,
Three, yeah,
sorry.
that rings a bell.
That's about right,
That's what it
because
said.
when I took
No,
off, it was
Whatever, I'm
2001.
saying, we
Yeah.
did 5 with ours, but
Yeah.
it's
I'm sure it varies by.
It varies by
Yeah.
towns and
Yeah,
size of tanks.
state and everything, so.
I think as long as we're close, we're good.
No,
That's what,
definitely,
yeah.
and for the
I
price.
don't think it'd been clean for 20 years before that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Since it was put in, probably.
All right,
Yeah.
new budget, I await the board's final decision on the budget with no changes. I have been made aware of since the draft was submitted at the previous board meeting, so we should be good to go unless you guys have something that needs to be said there. No new updates on the IRS generator, financial reports. We have been spending quite a bit of money with the $4,000 in new seals, the stock replacement of $4,000. We had the liability insurance that's always due at this time of year. That's another $4,000, and it was just a big hit for us all at one time. So I ended up having to pull out $15,000 this month, so it's not on the financial reports that you guys are looking at yet because it was in June. But I'm hoping that I will be able to put back at least $1,000 or $2,000 every single month. So hopefully we'll get that back in there. I could have pulled the majority of it from our operating reserve instead of the capital improvement, but I kind of figured nothing has come out of capital improvements. We've bought a new truck, we bought a shed, and that all came out of checking, so I just took the whole amount. Unless you guys have any feedback on that, we'll just leave it as it is because I'm hoping to get it paid back kind of quickly, as quickly as possible. Although if we're going to be doing the roof at the BLM, at Big Wash, and we're looking at doing some other stuff, that might not happen as quick as I want. But I will do my best to get it paid back as quickly as possible. Rate increase. Last month, you guys asked me to look into what it was going to take to get a rate increase going. I have not pulled up figures, so I don't have anything to announce figures-wise. But I did pull out that really it's just a matter of notice, making sure that we let the customers know that we're considering this, schedule a hearing with plenty of warning. There's regulations, and I've included that in your packet, so you guys have that to look at your convenience.
Yeah, I think we raised the rates by $1
It wasn't much.
last time, and it raised us like $300.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't much.
Say that, excuse me, say that again?
I think we raised the rate by $1, and if I remember right, it increased our income by about $300.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
And we did that because they raised the rates on us from
Valley Pioneers.
at about $300 a month.
Okay, we just
Yeah.
passed it on?
Yeah, so we
Okay,
passed it
all
on.
right.
And I have since I put this together, I have since talked to Mark too, and we are on the low end taxes wise. We have our standard, what was it? don't have
I
it out
thought
here,
we
but
were near the top of our ability.
We're not, and we could be at the top, and that would bring in another like 5,000-ish a year, which would get us closer in the budget. You know, I'm usually up by about 10,000 over in the budget. Obviously, it's not what we
Increasing
spend,
the tax
but
rate from what to what?
0.1, 0.5, 3.1.
yeah,
3.5,
yeah.
like
You
4
think I
that?
have that with
From
me?
3.1 to 3.5.
Yeah, we can go to
I don't remember it was
10,
like
yeah.
3.5.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when was the
And
last rate
most of the
increase,
county
do you
does the
remember?
math.
Last rate increase?
That was
God,
before
6, 8
we
years
moved
ago?
here.
Well, yeah, I don't ever remember it, but
Well,
Because we've been here
it
for
wasn't
8
too
years.
long after I came on the board.
Yeah.
It was 2016 or something.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
okay,
That's
I'm just
what-
curious, so it's been,
When we came in 16, it hasn't changed since then.
No.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, so it's been 7 years or 8 years,
Yeah.
at least.
And I've had a couple of people down comment to me about, you guys are gonna have to raise your rates pretty soon.
Now, I've had some comments too, you
Yeah.
know, okay.
So I'll get that put together and hopefully, I think the way
Yeah.
that they've done it in the past is they usually have a hearing around December and then they start putting it into effect right before our budget comes out for the following year. I don't know if we want to try to get that done sooner or.
Yeah, okay.
Or what, it's not, obviously not included in our budget, and I don't know if you need to, with a budget being approved and submitted to the county and stuff, can you change it? Can you change? You can.
There is
You've had
nothing,
experience?
there's nothing binding about it, but
Okay.
No, it can
All right.
change.
You have to
I think.
resubmit it with the corrections.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And they probably don't even look at it.
You're probably right. Oh, we don't have that.
I want to do it right, though. And then the final thing was just maintenance. Ben will have more to say on this, but wanted to mention that we have another issue with our HVAC unit at inline and required maintenance once again to repair it. It was like $1,000.
How old is that
Put the
little air
AC.
conditioner?
That I don't know. Do you know how old that is?
They were there in 2015 when they activated that.
Do we have anybody?
It's probably time to get a new air.
That's when we did that, that's when we installed the radio metering control.
In 2015?
Yes.
So that poor thing is 10 years old?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, and it just gave up. Now, the one down at Mineral Park is still
Yeah.
working good, but it's the same age.
Are they?
Oh, yeah, they're gonna have to give $1,000. It should have a maintenance on it, like you're
Like preventive maintenance.
Yeah.
That's
I
supposed to
brought
be
that
the
one
way
up.
they.
Yep, the problem is those are hermetically sealed. There's not a lot you can do about them.
They are hermetically sealed.
I mean, the compressor and all,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can blow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can do, but
Yeah.
there's some preventive maintenance should be done.
Well, what occurred this time was not the compressor or anything, it was the controls.
Okay.
And he
And that you
replaced,
can't do anything with those.
yeah, they're just gonna go.
Preventive maintenance.
You know, and they had the contacts had burned.
Yeah, okay.
You could hear it clicking, but it wasn't making
Yeah, all right.
continuity.
Okay, well, that's something
But that
to
was
think about.
$900 and something dollars for both of those.
I know, yeah, I think so.
That thing's way out of date.
Yeah, it's 10 years old.
Well, it's operating now, and we spent $1,000 on it. I'd hate to replace it
Yeah,
right
how
now.
long-
I
But
thought
how long
Ben
is it
just
gonna
said
operate?
we had to do something else to it.
No, it had to get done. It wasn't working at all.
Yeah.
We couldn't
So
have
it's
the
still
computers
working
not.
now.
It's working real good now.
We
Yeah.
just need to find out how much a better
Well, we
one
need-
would be, so that if this
Okay.
does stop
Yeah.
working, we'll be all set.
We need to get a budget figure.
Yeah, we
Okay.
get it pre-approved, and then you won't have to ask us about it. You
Yeah.
just get it.
Yeah.
For both Mineral Park and
Don't call
inline.
ambient air.
Okay, and then the last thing was, I know we discussed Big Wash and, as far as repairing the roof and all that stuff. I think because of how much money we've been spending, what I'd like to do, at least labor-wise, is just try to spread the project out. I think it's gonna work out better that way anyways because of the heat. We're not gonna be able to spend very many hours at a time out there. It's too dangerous. So I'm thinking maybe just a couple hours here and there to get it
Can we
done.
just
We're not
delay it
under any
until
huge
October?
deadline. Huh?
Can we just delay it till October?
That was just what I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
we could.
delay it till,
We
You'd be
could,
better off
Yeah.
doing that, because the 2 hours, it takes an hour to get there. and
well,
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's just put it off until,
but I
we'll
just
talk
meant
about it in
overall,
October.
we're just
Yeah.
gonna kind of spread it out. That way it's
Put it on
not.
the agenda for October.
Yeah, I think so.
How big is the, is it just a drip
Yeah,
leak?
even at 5
Well,
o'clock in the
because
morning,
everything-
working on that roof,
Nothing in
it's
that
still gonna
building
be
is
hot.
usable, so,
It's just a matter of keeping it in a serviceable condition, I believe is what they say with BLM. You either have to bring it back to desert conditions like it was before we had it, or we need to keep it up. We need to keep
Yeah, we
it up.
have,
And the roof
have
is starting to
to,
fail, and we need to paint it the color that they tell us we
Yeah.
need to paint it.
Because
So
I
really
remember
that's
that
the
roof.
yeah.
That sucker's about this thick, and it's
Yeah.
heavier than hell, and it's stiff as a board. It takes somebody strong and knows how to do it with some specialized equipment that we simply don't have.
Yeah, I've never been up on that roof, so I don't know.
Oh, you don't have to see it, it's okay.
as far as keeping that operational, we have to. Because we have a commitment that was agreed to through the county with Bill Hamilton, because we dried up his well.
But his, what is inside that building that he's using?
He's not using,
Just
I
the
didn't
well.
all he's
think so.
using is
He's just using
the
well
pump and that's it.
and the
Yeah,
tank.
And he's paying for all, he put a new pump in there,
Yeah,
you know, he pays the
but
electric and everything.
that's a separate from the building.
Oh, yeah,
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 so
you're correct.
I can't understand why we don't demolish the building.
Well,
Because that would be considered abandoning the service.
Yeah, but you would have to, if he's keeping the pumps up and the storage tank things, you could still say you're still in operational.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
not using the
Yeah, you
full
could
benefit.
Yeah.
It's
You would
expensive
have to
getting
bring
back
the
to
full
native.
native, so
And that's probably where the electricity's coming from that building.
he pays for it, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, but that's, but still, we just,
That's where,
It's not
yeah,
the-
it comes out of the building
And
going
it's
in.
not just the
electrical.
plant.
you know,
The right of way is the entire thing.
Yeah,
The
no.
line all the way, and demoing all of that's gonna be a lot.
yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
well,
It's gonna be a
Might
lot of
cost a buck and a
money.
half.
yeah, well, put it on the agenda, the whole thing is on the agenda for October,
Okay,
and then we'll
all right.
tackle that.
Do people buy stainless steel? You told me they don't.
Well, it's, as far as scrapping all
All
that.
that stainless steel that's inside
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
Seems like it ought to be worth something.
uh,
yeah, sure.
okay.
Yeah.
You'd have to pay somebody to take it out of there.
Yeah.
Probably.
There's no doubt in my
Yeah, you're not gonna make
mind.
money back.
No. no.
Yeah, I
It
think
was
Green put it
down on
online one time and we didn't get
93,
any bites.
maybe, but up
Maybe if we
here,
leave it unlocked, somebody will steal it.
no, if we wanted to take it.
Yeah, put a keep out sign on it
I
though.
think they know how to use it.
Well,
They don't know
somebody's been in
the
there taking
difference
most of the
between-
electronics out of it.
Oh, I know, yeah. Well, you and I were messing around.
Yeah, and some of the stainless steel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
you all
it.
done?
Yep, I'm all
Okay,
done.
thank
I
you.
think he
Very
might
good.
have, do you have stuff?
Ben, you got anything to say?
Yeah, not much.
Okay.
As I mentioned, Patrick and I are gonna go down Monday for the inline. We're gonna try to restore that automatic operation so that we don't have to do it. Then I had a question I talked to Gene about for a few minutes, that I think we probably ought to send the lady a letter saying no. She has, down by First Street, she's the first building down there by Larry.
Down below the
And
houses.
Oh, that
there's a
pink
meter
house, yeah.
right there at the end of her driveway. It's not on her property because it ends right there. But there's a power pole and it's right up against the power pole. They ran over it one time and destroyed it. It didn't hurt our meter, destroyed the plastic case, and it required her $700 worth of repairs for her stuff because they're right in line. She wants us to take, I've got a post driven there so they can't hit it. She wants that taken out so they can drive over. She says, well, it's got that concrete on there. It'll be okay to drive over. Yeah, but it won't be okay for hers. And if somebody had a dually backing up in there with full load, it won't support that kind of traffic. So I think we should tell her, no, we just need to leave it like it is.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I do too.
If it's in the right of way, it's not, I mean.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
it's on the right of way
I know
part,
exactly what you're talking about.
it's not on their property, so.
It's on First, where
Well,
is
she wants to pay.
First Street, down there by Larry,
I can't listen to both of you.
you know where Larry Johnson lives?
Yeah.
Okay, that house, little trailer house right next, behind him?
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Oh, that trailer on, okay.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay. all right.
Yeah, take a drive down there and you can see what it
I'll take
is.
a drive, yeah.
Now, because his fence, Larry's fence is right on the property line, and our meter is right outside of his
I think
fence.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah,
Ron had a good idea, that you just have her pay for it.
Yeah, if she wants to pay for it, we'll move it.
Yeah, oh, yeah. We'll put it in place she
Actually,
wants.
it's not hard to do.
She wants to
Okay.
pay for it.
Put an anti-collar?
Yeah.
Then she's gotta
Move the
We'll have to
meter.
put together a
Yeah.
cost of what.
Yeah.
It's her meter, right?
His point
by the
was,
house?
if you wanna pay all the extra money, we can move it for you.
Yeah, that's right, that's fine. I have no
Including
problem
maybe
with
some
that.
liability if our stuff is down
What,
there.
didn't we charge Bill McAdams $1,000 to
Yes.
move that meter?
we do. That's the basic cost of something like that.
Yeah,
So, tell her that.
okay, if she, if,
So
yeah.
that'll probably
Yeah.
stop the complaints.
Well, I'm sure it'll stop her in her tracks.
That's your point.
Okay, we've got all but one of the seals on the pumps replaced, and they're supposed to do that Friday.
Cool.
Then the big wash stuff, I'm gonna pass on that because she already covered it. We're going down, the reason why I was talking about working Monday on starting those pumps, Patrick and I are going down and we're gonna take we have to unearth the chlorine injector and clean that. So we'll be there anyway, so it won't cost any extra. So, and we took all the chlorine apparatus apart yesterday and cleaned everything, the tanks, you know, and replaced all of that.
Do
So
we
it's
do
all-
that regularly?
We're supposed to do that regularly.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
because the chlorine corrodes it.
Oh, yeah, well, I know.
yeah,
Especially the
but
cork
now,
stops.
it brings up, you were talking about the air conditioner, we're gonna have to get one small room air conditioner for that thing, because that air conditioner's not working anymore. It's got a little air conditioner for that tiny room
Just a, yeah.
to keep that
Window
chlorine
shaker.
from evaporating out.
Yeah, okay.
So if anybody's got a spare one laid around,
I think we'd be better off buying one. One of
yeah, they're
those.
about
Yeah, I know.
Somebody else's
What
they're
one.
about $120 now.
You know, for
Yeah.
a few $100s, those little window shakers aren't expensive.
Well, and it saves us because it keeps our chlorine levels constant.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll just go ahead and cost it out and see what it's gonna take and
Yep.
get it in.
If it's only a few $100s, it doesn't even have to come to us.
No, it doesn't even have to come to us.
Okay, I'll get her to give me
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You know,
and that's all I've got.
and there's no use waiting.
So we'll start Monday, one pump or two?
Two.
Two, okay. We'll start with two Monday.
Okay,
Right.
all right. Item 8, critical infrastructure. Did everybody get a chance to look at what Civil Six said?
Yep, I glanced at it, yeah, I haven't really gone through it thoroughly.
Anybody blaring comments or?
I think it's
Come on, Ron.
overkill.
Well, okay.
Well, my comment on it is that I think they did a really nice job of overkill, but I don't think it's a waste because they laid out a plan of a pipe with all kinds of fittings and different things on it.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, as the town grows and we're using more and more water, I think we're gonna have to abandon this water going back and forth system and put in a dedicated pressure line.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And we can use that design for the dedicated
Oh,
pressure
yeah.
line.
No, the
So I
design
don't-
was not a waste.
Yeah, so I
at
don't
all.
think we've lost any money.
And we have it, here it is.
Future, we're gonna need it.
Yeah.
We don't need to act on it right away.
No. And if we go for another grant, the grant people, and we can say, here, we're ready to go.
Yeah. Now, but that brings up another question for me then. If, okay, we had to get an engineering design for that main line, I understand why we had to do that. Are we gonna have to get some kind of a design plan to start ripping up black
It
plastic?
should be part of that. It should be part of these drawings.
Yeah, because we did a total survey of
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
meter and every valve.
Already in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, this is a complete plan for the town site.
Because when I saw it, the only parts I saw was just the,
No.
No, it's all there.
They've got it all laid out.
Yeah, all the specs are there,
Every street,
everything.
Yeah.
You know, but that's why we have, like I say, if we go for another grant, here it is, folks.
if we go for the black plastic part of it, do we have to have them supervise the job?
No.
No.
So that'll eliminate another $100,000.
Mhm.
Well, they're gonna hardly be supervising this one.
Yeah,
I don't think that there's money in there for project management, but they're not gonna have somebody here all the time.
no.
No,
You made that very clear.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
But
they-
we don't need them for project management,
No.
do we?
No.
Just gonna do those.
We will have the opportunity to call them out if there's questions,
Right.
you know, and there, God knows, there might be, you know.
Okay.
And maybe a lot of the questions they can just answer over the phone, or we can have them come out, okay, what do you think? You know, comment on this. So I would like, I think, Angie and I were talking about it. I think we ought to go ahead and go out to bid.
On what?
On the first phase, like on phase
On
one.
on both phases.
Wait a
Well-
minute, what is the first phase?
Well, what they wanted to do, what they thought we should do first was the line from Hercules to, Second Street.
Up Second
to 10th
Street.
Tennessee.
main line.
Yeah, the main
down-
line.
The main line, and then down to the VFW and up to the tank.
Yeah,
And you're voting we do that?
Yeah,
I don't agree.
and the second phase is put in the service lines.
Well, they'll put in sewer lines, no, excuse me, service lines. Part of the project will be,
Yeah, that's
Oh,
all
well,
part of the
right.
phase, right?
Yeah, where,
will be
where the
wherever they
new main
put
line's going in.
They
Yeah.
do service at
But
the.
I like
But
to-
that won't, I bet that won't save even 1 gallon of oil.
okay,
Because our leaks are in the black plastic
Okay.
throughout the same town.
all right.
but if we are
Put your hands in
putting
your
new,
pockets for a minute.
if we're putting in new service lines,
It is
okay?
replacing the line.
And they're not gonna, we're gonna replace all the black, so, and they're not even gonna be laid in the same place.
Not in the same-
They're gonna be in a different, you know, like they're gonna be in a different hole, whatever you wanna call
Yeah.
it, a different trench.
Most of our service lines don't even connect to that place.
They're in the laterals, right? Is that-
Yeah, but what,
So they're gonna be replacing very few service lines compared to what the town
They don't
did.
connect to the main line.
What?
Except for
No, they don't.
Where don't they?
where don't they connect to the 6-inch line?
On almost every street in town.
How do they
They
connect?
connect, they connect to the, mainly there's a lot of 1-inch and 2-inch laterals running up the
Okay.
You're
streets.
talking about the laterals going.
And that's what they connect to.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's where we're losing the water.
okay,
okay, well, the laterals are gonna be replaced. But
36-inch main.
yeah, from the 6-inch main.
That's the second phase.
Wait a minute, when we were talking about this before, we were doubting we'd have enough money to even complete the first
That's
phase.
because the guys, the engineering estimate, I'm sure, is super inflated. It just seems like an awful, I told you, I went through and I priced the pipe and everything myself, and it's really high.
So we're gonna replace new stuff with new stuff.
No, not new stuff.
It doesn't make any sense to me that we let all the leaks still be there and replace a pipe that's probably not leaking. That makes
Okay.
no sense to me.
It's a growth program. You've got to start somewhere. So you start with the 6-inch line and put the laterals that, the meters that are on the 6-inch line. Then when you get done with that, you continue to the next phase,
Because
which
that's
takes
not gonna
care of
gain us-
those.
But that's not gonna gain us any ground.
Not the first step, but the
leaks.
second step will. That's what she's trying to say. The first step is
But
just a
we
beginning.
won't have enough money. We'll be lucky to have enough money to even finish the first step.
Well,
What's
yeah.
the
When
second
we
one?
go out to bid, we'll go out to bid for phase 1 and phase 2. There's no saying we have to do phase 1 first. We need to know what this is gonna cost.
Okay, so you aren't saying we're gonna do it, we're just.
I'm not saying we're gonna do it, we need a cost on it.
Because we have to, if we want that money at all, we're gonna have to have it concrete. We're gonna have to know what it's gonna cost.
We'll have to have it committed.
Well, when you say committed, when we get the bid, can we say, no, we don't wanna do that?
We don't wanna do what?
No, we have to have contracts signed.
Yeah,
By the
there's
end of the year.
problem.
Well,
Once you go out for bid, you're stuck doing it.
We don't have to
Yeah.
do phase 1 first. We can do phase 2.
I haven't seen phase 2.
No,
I haven't seen
They
phase
haven't-
two.
All
they
I've
haven't-
seen is just,
Phase 2 is when, if we get another grant, that's the
Yeah,
remainder of the
but-
time. Lateral.
On his RFP, and did you guys look at the engineering estimate? He has a lot more pipe on there than it's gonna take to go that, there's a lot more pipe.
I think he's pushing going up fourth to the tank. though.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
that on there.
We're
But,
gonna have to stop.
but the rest, but part of, all of the other stuff is, I
He
think,
also talked about not doing the part going down the hill, only
Going
going
to-
from
We're
here
only
and
going
as
to-
far up here as we could get. So he was saying that we could probably get from Cattle Guard approximately
Yeah.
up to maybe 4th Street. That, what's that going to do?
That's why we need a cost on it. We need to know what it's gonna
But if
cost.
we get the bid, can we turn it down?
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, just
Oh,
because somebody
we
gives
get
you
a
a
dozen
price,
bids.
doesn't mean you
But
have
can
to
we-
take it.
No, but does it mean we have to do the job?
No.
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 You can
No.
rescope it and rebid it.
Yeah, we can rescope it and rebid it a dozen times.
So we could we get a bid for phase 1 and phase 2, and I don't know what phase 2 is, because I haven't seen it as far as I know.
There is no phase 2 yet, you're just looking at phase,
Oh,
the first
okay.
project,
Yeah,
you're not,
6-inch main.
Yeah.
VFW to 4th Street.
that's all,
Yeah.
that's all there
Should
is.
be killed to the Calgary.
Yeah.
With all the lateral, with all the
Services,
Yeah,
that covers
new
all the
services and new
services.
corps or surf stops.
Yeah.
But I think we'll talk to them about phase 2, and, because they've done all the
I
surveys
think on the laterals.
for phase 2.
if I remember right,
They've spent tons of
right-
time here.
Right away of.
We just haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, you know.
What, the drawings?
Yeah.
They sent all, we've got everything. We've got, they sent 90% drawings, which means they just have somebody's approval or something.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I
I guess
think,
I'm the only one to
hey
look.
guys, let's have one meeting.
I think we need to have the drawings, maybe we need to have them printed out
Well,
so
yeah.
everybody can look at
Yeah.
them. I thought you guys might have looked at them,
I did.
but,
I did.
Yeah,
but,
well, we need to get some big sets.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
I'll go to Staples. and
Yeah, we need to
print
get
it.
some D-size.
So it's a lot easier to sign.
Oh,
you can
yeah,
see.
almost 8.5 by 11s or
I had
11 by
to go
17.
switch my phone to the computer because I
Yeah.
had a bigger
Yeah,
screen.
oh, yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to decide.
So I think
That way
that
we'll
that's the
know what
first thing we
we're
need to
talking
do.
about.
We'll talk about phase 2. And I'd like to go out to bid for both at the same time. Phase 1, phase 2.
But there isn't a phase 2.
Well, they've done phase 2. We just don't have
Well,
it.
But that's not in the scope of what kind of money we have right now.
No, but we don't have to use that for the money.
Okay, so you're just gonna.
I mean, we could take that
Because
800,000.
if we don't do that, we won't know how much more to ask for.
Yeah, yeah. We've got to have a realistic cost.
Yeah.
not an engineering estimate.
And there is a chance, because there is more ARPA money available, there is a chance we can get more.
But you won't be looking at just the phase 2, you'll be looking at, from what I can tell, like a phase 3 and 4, depending on the sections of.
Well, yeah,
money,
yeah.
Depending on money,
Yeah.
so, I mean,
Depending
there's
on
gonna
money,
be
but at
multiple.
least we can go out to bid, and for phase 2, which we haven't seen yet, we'll know it's gonna be X amount of dollars to replace all the line, basically. So, that's my,
But the engineers are gonna have to re-spec what phase 2 is gonna be. Because right now, you're only spec for phase 1.
oh, yeah, yeah,
They,
you're right.
But
you're
then-
looking at 6-inch, and then you're gonna be phase 2.
But
I
it's
would
on the
say.
drawings, you know, and the pipe specs will be the same, the size will change. But it's on the drawings, the rest of like the laterals and that.
But you're dealing with a lot different footages, so the
Oh,
prices.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
prices change on footages
Oh, yeah.
and everything
yeah,
else.
it's gonna change.
Instead of 6-inch, you'd be dealing with
Right.
a lot of 2-inch and 3-inch.
2-inch, 3-inch,
4-inch.
yeah,
All
yeah,
that.
yeah, so, okay.
Do I need to put anything on the agenda or just continue discussion?
No, just leave this on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, old business.
Just a minute. She recommended we put phase 1 out to bid. What did we decide on that? Did we make a decision?
Okay,
I think we need to look at this, we need to get the drawings printed out so everybody
Yeah.
can be on the same page.
I'd recommend that before you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So that we can review phase 2?
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, we'll do that, and maybe we'll even,
You could draw phase 2 what you guys want or what we want.
yeah, yeah,
on the,
And just
yeah,
on the
we
plan
can
3, 4,
modify.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that way you'll know.
yeah,
And if somebody asks you, you can say,
Yeah.
well, that's in phase 4, this is coming down the road.
yeah, so I think we'll just continue that, Kathy,
Okay,
just continue it on the agenda.
okay.
And
there's
we'll get
nothing
some
you need
drawings in
from
the
me.
next few days, and we might even have a meeting in the middle of the month to look at that. You know.
Good idea.
You know, we can have a meeting, call a meeting anytime we want, you know, and look at that, not wait another whole month. Okay, anybody else got anything to say more about this? Okay, moving on. Old business. Has anybody got any comment on the budget? Okay. I'd like a motion and a second to approve the final budget for fiscal year 2024-25.
Motion approved, sorry.
All in favor?
I'll second.
Aye.
Okay, so passed. Okay,
No worries, sorry.
don't argue, guys. Play nice together.
After you, no, after you.
Put me down some names.
Okay, I'd like a motion and a second to approve the $15,000 transfer from the capital improvement to the checking account. We've already discussed it, so,
I second.
okay, everybody, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. The item 11, approve the roof repair for Big Wash. We're gonna put that off until October.
I think we do still need to do, since I put it on here, we need to have a motion.
I
Okay,
move we put it off until October.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so moved.
Perfect.
I'd like a motion and a second for adjournment.
Second.
We're out. Thank you all.
Thanks.